Hey everybody, Fishman here. Welcome to another video. This is going to be a little bit different. I'm going to try, through some sketches, to illustrate how you guys can plan out or design your own planter brackets or planter pots. The brackets are going to be for those who already have some existing pots and they just want something to hold it in the water. And of course the other one is just going to be the whole thing all together. So you can actually just hook it on the side and it'll be the entire pot and everything. So this amazing sketch here so far is the side of an aquarium with the water line. And because most aquariums that you guys are going to have some form of rim on them, I'm going to start off with a rimmed aquarium. And honestly, it doesn't really make any difference for the outcome of it, but it does have a little bit to do with how you design the top part of the bracket. So this is a rimmed aquarium. This is just a cross section. And this top piece here is the critical part for how you're going to space things. You have to have enough hanging out on the outside of the aquarium to allow the thickness of whatever thickness of acrylic you're going to be using to hang down the side and form that little bit of an L, which is going to keep it in place. That's very straightforward, and the actual dimensions don't really matter. I end up designing it basically on how thin I'm comfortable cutting a piece of acrylic. And that's all there is to it. That means usually what happens is this is going to be wider than you need to. So to keep it level, all you do is whatever the bottom of the bracket or pot's going to be, you just make it that much longer. So when this hooks on the side of the aquarium, you end up with a nice level thing. You'll see, I am going to actually build one of these as this video progresses, and you'll get to see as it goes along how that is actually done. And then because it needs a little bit of rigidity, there's going to be two diagonal pieces that are going down the sides. I've already built one of these. You guys seen it. This is actually the one I'm going to make. Now, if you wanted to make an all-in-one, it's exactly the same thing. I'm going to make this one I'm going to draw this one for a rimless tank because, just to show you, I mean, it doesn't really make any difference at all. And what you're going to have, again, is the top piece is going to go across. In this case, because there's no rim, it's just going to be a little thinner. And this piece is going to come down here as your hook. And then, because this is going to be a pot, you want it to stick a little bit further above the water, just so that the whole entire thing is not soaking wet all the time. And there you go. The bottom sticks out a little bit further. That's pretty much, at this point, it looks identical to the other one, except, again, that one piece goes up a little higher. If you want it to be immersed completely, you don't have to do that part. You can actually make this shorter. You can make it even a lot taller if you want the top part to be drier. And of course, all you need, you're going to make this into a box, and you're going to have holes, as I've done for the other ones, and that just allows water to come in. And one of the things I've noticed quite a bit with these things is you end up with a lot of water being sucked in through the holes because as the plant respires, it uses up a fair amount of water, and that actually gives you a fair amount of current through, not current, but it does give you a lot of water that's going to go into this. So there you go. This is my simple spacer for giving you that little bit of a bottom that's going to go against the side of the tank. And I've just designed this, or took the measurements, I should say, so that it will be roughly square. If you aren't sure how to make that, I mean, I cut these on a table saw, so it is very simple afterwards. If this turns out to be a little too long, for you to just put it on the cross-cut sled again and just trim that down. So that's very easy to do. And of course, if you're going to be, you're not certain, just make it a little bit wider, and then it's easy again to cut it down. Now these are going to be the brackets. Now I could have, as I think I did with the first one out of these, I may pre-cut them and then just glue them into place. In this case, just to save on you guys having to do any math or anything, this is just as easy. Now, of course, you do require a method of cutting it afterwards, but if you're going to be able to cut the acrylic in the first place, that's not a big deal. So these are going to go from the leading edge there, as you can see, all the way up to the leading edge here. And I made these The bottom piece is 4x4 on the inside, and then with a little bit of extra lip on the outside. and that accounts for the thickness of 1/8 inch there. And I made these longer than they need to be, as you can see here. That way you don't have to, like I said, you don't have to calculate anything. Then all I'm going to do is weld this in place, and then it's a simple matter of going over to the bandsaw or table saw, whatever you have, and just cutting them off. It's very simple. The first one I'm not going to bother showing you, but I will show you a short clip of the bandsaw in action. And I also use the belt sander just to tidy up the edge a little bit. That step's not really necessary, but I like to keep these as tidy as possible when I put them together for you guys. But if you're cutting these on a table saw, you don't really need that step anyway, because the table saw will give you a clean enough cut that you wouldn't need to. Now, the reason why I'm using the bandsaw is it is a safer instrument for this sort of project. If I were to try and cut these on a table saw, I would have to make a jig or template to hold and clamp these in place before I do the cuts, because these are tiny little pieces that you're trying to trim off. And of course, with the table saw, you really do need to keep your fingers as far away from that blade as possible. Not as big a problem, obviously, with the bandsaw, and that's the reason why I'm using it in this particular case. There you go. Very easy to put together. This is pretty much done now. All I have to put on is the little L bracket at the top, which will hold it in position on the tank. And that's pretty much it. So we're going to trim those two off now. The two edges are the ones that stick beyond. And I am going to put this in an aquarium. Now, I didn't bother completing a pot one, because we just did a bunch of those. And then as far as having putting an actual pot in this, I will do one probably for Sunday's vlog, because I do want to get some of the herbs that I've been getting for the hydroponics, aquaponics sort of builds. I do want to put one of those into a fish tank as well, just to see how that goes, and I'm going to do that for Sunday. So there you go. This is very straightforward to get off. Of course, one of the things about using a bandsaw instead of the table saw, it does end up with a little bit of melting there. And sometimes if you get a little too close, I think you'll see a piece of it here in when I'm showing you the final product. Sometimes if you don't hold it at the right angle, you can have a little bit of scraping on the side of it. But again, these are just functional brackets. They're not necessary for them to be pretty. And like I said, I'm just trying to get this done and show you how to do it. So there you go. This is very easy. This is just going to go on the top. And the reason why I'm doing this last is because I wouldn't be able to have access to cutting those little pieces off on the angle brackets. So this is just easier to do now at this stage, when I don't have to worry about anything. There's no more cutting to do, so all I have to do is just glue this on and it's done. And if you decide to do the angles, like cut those angles first and do the math, then you don't need to do this part at all. I mean, you can just put them together at any point you want in this. There you go. Just put this down, hold this in place, and there you go. That's it. Just glue that on. And it's just a simple matter of having a fairly steady hand for this. Now, I know people want me to show, like I've gotten, actually, thank you very much, by the way. A lot of people have said that they really like to see more carpentry and all that sort of stuff as well. I have been toying with the idea of making a second channel, which is going to show builds for that sort of stuff. And if I do that, I think I'll do all those sorts of builds there. They call it carpentry and machining and that sort of stuff, just to keep this more of a fish-related channel. And hopefully that will make everybody happy for that. There you go. This is done. It's very easy to do. I recommend this highly. It really holds things into place, and as you can see, you just need small little pieces of scrap, and you can put it together. And it just slides on. It's very easy to put in place, move around, put wherever you want, and then you just put a pot on top of that. And I'll have a pot and a plant planted in this for Sunday's vlog. So there you go. It's held square, and that's all there is to it. So thank you very much for watching. This video is definitely here because a number of you guys left comments that you wanted to see how this stuff is put together, and I try and do as much of that sort of thing as possible. And thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, and bye for now.